Hello and welcome to this B1 Usability Package Tip of the Week session. My name is Rasmus Wolf Jensen, and in this week we will be looking at how to use a macro to set default value on Windows. So this is all about finding out where your customers have tedious tasks that they do every time and how to get rid of them. So let's go into Business One to see one tedious task as an example. Today I will be working with the production order, but it could be any window in Business One that had some similar features. But in this case I actually have a live scenario where I had a customer that every time they work with production orders, they 99% of the times always used special of type, so they needed to put in components by themselves. So their problem was that every time they opened a production order, they needed to start by going into type and choosing special. Because if I close this, it will not be the default next time I open the window, it will always start in standard. So let's first analyze the request. Well, the customer wanted to have that every time they are in add mode, it should automatically switch to special. So first of all, we need to find which scenarios we can have that we end up in add mode and needing to do this. So first of them is of course that we just open the production order. Because we are in add mode, it should automatically have switched here. That's one. Second is if I go to a existing production order and switch up here to add mode, it should now also have automatically selected this. And finally, if I add a new document, I would essentially end up with an entire new production order ready to be added again, so I could put in a second. And in that case, it would switch back to standard, and in that case, I should actually also switch back to special. So that is our three scenarios that we need to cover with three different events happening in the system. And in order to find out what we should work with, well, if we put on the system information and look at the field in question, we can see that is form 65211 and the item is item 20. And also the special value here, the value behind in the database, you can see in the lower left corner in front of the system information, is P. So we should essentially switch the value to P every time we had one of the three events. So let's have a look on how to do that. So let's first start out with the universal function that we need to have in order to switch to this. So let's go to administration, add-ons, usability package, module configuration, universal function configuration. We need a macro, so let's choose that. Let's call it set to special. And in order to do it, we simply need a normal set command. So we put in set, we put in the item we want to set, that was item 20. That's 0, in order to get the syntax right. And we put in the value P, which was the value of special. And let's put in a simple comment so we can remember what this means. So let's switch to special. Okay, so that is our universal function. Let's add that. But a universal function by itself doesn't do this. This is just a functionality. To do it, we should hook it up to our three events: opening the window, switching to add mode, and adding a new entry. So for that we need the validation system. So we go again to administration, add-ons, usability package, B1 validation configuration. Okay, so the first one was just open production for order. and the form type was 65211. Again, that was when we hovered the mouse over, we could see that. And this case, it's just that every time we load the form load, we should execute our universal function that was set to special. So let's try to add this and see if the first of our 3 scenarios should work. So we go down here, find our production order, and open the window, and we can see now that when we just open the window, it starts in special. So the first one is complete. Next, we need to have it happen once we switch to add mode, because right now we only have the one. So if I switch to add mode, it will not switch to special. So again, we need a new E1 validation. So again, we go up here. So let's say production switch to add. Again, we need to 65211. And in this case, in order to do this, we need to have a menu click. Was it this one? And we need to tell what menu item it was. So let's go to add here, and we can see that it's 1282. So we say that every time 1282 is switched to, we want to have it happen. But we just need one more thing. We actually need to say that it's every time we have actually made the switch. So we just need to change our before action, not before we press to add mode, after we press to add mode. So we need to set it to false. We again need to choose our set to special. We can just reuse the same for both of them, no problem. And we need to add this. So now when we go from find mode to add mode, we'll see it switch to special as well. So now we have 2 of them ready. The final step we need is when we added an entirely new one, we should be able to go in and work with it. So again, we need a new validation. So production order after add. We put in the form type again. We say that every time we press item 1, which is the add button, and it happens during add mode, because it wouldn't make sense in any of the other modes to switch this. And again, we need to have it happen after SAP has actually successfully entered the new production order. So we are on entirely new after we have added the first. So we need to switch this to action success equals true. So we are after it actually have happened. Again, let me set it to this one. So essentially we have just used the same universal function 3 times. 1 for opening, 1 for switching, and 1 for add. If I wanted to have 3 different things happening, all depending on what should happen, I could have first set up multiple universal functions, but in this case it's not needed. So if let me see if I have some data I can put in here. Put in these 3 items, put in a due date, and add this. Oh. We don't need to have the same item, of course. It wouldn't make sense. So let's try again. So now we switch to add mode, and you can see the new one is actually also ready for to be special, which we didn't have else. So thank you for attending this session. If you want training material, you can go to our service portal at service.boyum-it.com/education. Or if you don't already have a demo of the system, you can get that at license.boyum-it.com/b1up.